Dimensional Metaphysical broadcast from the turquoise waters of the Caribbean Sea on WSTX AM-970, the soul of the Caribbean, on St. Croix every Friday afternoon at 12:30 Atlantic Standard Time. I'm your host, Ray Bratcher. I give sacred breathwork sessions on St. Croix and around the world, and the purpose of this program is the same as the purpose of those breathwork sessions: to assist you to free your mind, heal your body, and live your life from the essential nature of your spirit, which is joy, love, and inner peace. So welcome to the program. Welcome to the weekend. Sit back, strap in, and let's do this. Well, welcome to the program. Welcome to Children of the Sun for July 19th, 2024. February, Friday. Friday afternoon here in beautiful St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. We are live on the radio AM-970, WSTX. And let's see if we can get onto Facebook. Yes, there we are. We are now streaming live on Facebook. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome, Facebook, to the program. Welcome, AM radio listeners on AM 970. You can also pick us up on the Listen Live section of the radio station's website, WSTXradio.com. Want to welcome everybody to today's program. We're here every Friday afternoon, 12:30 to 2:30, talking about all things positive energy and metaphysical. Talking about positive energy from a fifth dimensional metaphysical point of view. Talking about just letting life play out. Yeah, it's good to be here with you on a Friday that's, I don't know, they still have heat advisories out, but it doesn't seem as hot as it's been the last few days. I hope you guys are all staying cool, staying hydrated, staying cool, even in spite of the political climate. That's always a heated, triggering event for lots of people. We just got to keep on keeping on, doing what we can, doing our best. So welcome to the program. If you're listening to it live, that means it's a Friday. And it is, in fact, Friday, July 19th, 2024. So good afternoon and welcome to the weekend. Christianstead, Frederickstead, Kings Hill, why not? Buck Island, why not? St. Thomas, St. John, Water Island are sister islands in the VI. BVI, Joss Van Dyke, Antigua, Aruba, Down Island, St. Kitts, Nevis, and really worldwide because we're streaming worldwide, and we're live on Facebook now, and you can pick up the recording later on Facebook if you're not able to make it at 12:30 every day. And we're also on all the podcast platforms, and those get uploaded pretty quick. Oh, a couple of community announcements that I wanted to make. CHANT, Crucian Heritage and Nature Tourism in Frederiksted, want you to know that this coming Monday, evening at that CHANT's location down in Frederiksted, there's going to be a presentation workshop presented by Mr. Wayne Chandler. He's the author of a book called Ancient Future, The Teachings and Prophetic Wisdom of the 7 Hermetic Laws of Ancient Egypt. He's a speaker and teacher, motivational speaker, and workshop facilitator. He's done lectures all around the world, New York, United Kingdom, Jamaica. He is an energy healer, a martial artist with over 25 years of experience. And he's going to be doing a workshop this Monday, July 22nd, Monday evening from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at CHANT in Frederiksted, called The Alchemy of Inner Empowerment, the need for personal transformation as humanity heads towards global reset. And it would probably be worth your while to make it to that one. He's an MS, CPH, and SCE. He began his study of yoga, spiritual science under Swami Vishnudevananda, where he learned the Sivananda system of Hatha Yoga and Pranayama. Then he studied Iyengar Yoga, and he's certified in bioelectric energy management systems, medical Qigong, pranic healing, spiritual sexual alchemy, core energetics, and brainwave therapy, as instructed by Montauk Chia and Ms. Minka DeVos. So the workshop
at CHANT on Monday evening at 6:30 p.m., but you probably knew that, is going to focus on clearing practices for the meridians in preparation of the planetary grid activation. The kidney packing, which is pituitary and third eye ajna activation, and to a lesser extent pineal. The microcosmic orbit to pull in and integrate Earth's new downloads experienced in the upgraded frequencies of transformation. These practices will be essential in the immediate here and now in order to prepare for the immense shifts about to take place on multiple levels and timelines. And so we're talking about getting your energy body ready for the shifts in energy that are coming upon the planet right now. And, you know, when we say right now, people have been talking about this for a while now, but you've got to remember planetary shifts don't take place overnight. So even if someone was first talking about this 30 years ago and it hasn't happened yet, and you thought it was going to happen in a couple of days or next week, that's on you. It was never thought that these things were going to happen tomorrow or next week, right? These planetary shifts, you're talking about something on a global scale, and it's a long time in our lives, but it's a short time in the life of the planet. But it does seem as though it's accelerating, and it does seem as though we're getting more and more evidence every day that the shifts are happening now, beginning now, at least. So it's probably a good thing to get your energy body ramped up and improved so you'll be able to handle the higher frequencies, because a lot of people are neglecting these processes and this energy work on themselves, and that's why they feel stressed out and overwhelmed right now, because you're kind of subtly falling out of being a match with the world around you. So if you're vibrating at one frequency and Mother Earth is vibrating at a higher frequency, that's not going to feel so good. That's going to put you in a mindset of having too much to do and not enough time to do it. And Wayne Chandler is one of a handful of people out there that I know of, and I pretty much know all of them, that's really focused on getting you upgraded for what's coming. And in fact, it's kind of like they just sort of just happened. Mr. Chandler was going to be a guest on my program today, but his flight out of Miami got delayed. And, you know, I don't know exactly for sure why. We didn't really talk about that. I just got the updated schedule, and we were hoping maybe he could make a phone call from the airport or something, but he's on a plane right now. But so we didn't talk about why. I just figured his usual airline stuff, you know, the weather, or they couldn't find a pilot who'd gotten the required hours of sleep before getting behind the cockpit again or in the cockpit again. You know, something like that, regular stuff. But then I found out news coming in this morning that there was a global internet outage it seems a cloud-based security company. It helps to secure your stuff that you do in the cloud. They sent a routine update to all their servers and clients, and their routine update had a mistake in the software, and it wound up taking down things all over the world. 911 call centers in Canada, and airline reservation desk, and just all kinds of stuff. And a lot of, so it messed with a lot of people's flights. And so maybe that's what happened with Wayne. And that's a kind of a sign of the global reset that's coming, because this was supposed to be just a routine update, but it was a mistake, and it messed up stuff all over the world because only a handful of corporations have this business. So each one of them has huge market share. So if just one has a problem, it takes down internet and internet dependent services all over the planet. So we've become, as a civilization, globally, incredibly dependent on the internet, and it seems that the internet is maybe not all that dependable. And that's a part of the global reset, is finding out, coming to the realization that nothing is permanent and nothing is, well, I guess we could go to an old Bible story about the fool who built his house on sand. So a lot of people these days are relying on transitory, ephemeral, temporary, unreliable things, materialistic things, instead of relying on nature and the earth and the sky and the air and the water and your state of mind and your breathing, trees, rocks, nature, the beach. That's strong soil to build your house in. So he's going to be here on St. Croix Monday evening, 6:30 p.m., 6:30 to 8 at CHANT in Frederickstead. $35 love donation at the door. Everyone is encouraged to attend. And also, so everybody here on St. Croix, stick your fingers in your ears, because I'm going to be talking about St. Thomas, promoting St. Thomas, promoting Wayne's event on St. Thomas. He is going to be in St. Thomas tomorrow, attending a symposium. It's a celebration of the Strength to Heal 30-year anniversary. It's going to be at the Charlotte Amalie High School auditorium at 5 p.m. That's tomorrow night. It's actually going to be 3 presenters. Wayne will be one of them. Shirley Gums and Dr. Ray Haggins, will be the other 2. So that'll be, if you're on St. Thomas, tomorrow, Saturday, July 20th at 5 p.m. At the Charlotte Amaya High School auditorium, you'll get a chance on St. Thomas to hear Mr. Chandler speak. So that's you. So if you're on St. Thomas, that's your opportunity. It's going to be a good thing for you guys over there. And if you're on St. Croix, Monday evening at 6:30, CHANT is the place to be. So you can learn how to upgrade your energy body for when the I don't know what's going to happen. The internet's going to go down. You know, it's really it's really connected us all. You know, if you think about how the internet has changed things, everybody around the world is in communication with everyone else. We can compare notes with each other. We can see what other people are up to in terms of societal and cultural change. We can learn from each other. You can go on Google or YouTube or Rumble or whatever and find out pretty much anything you want to. So it's been a real boon to humanity, but at the same time, it becomes more and more centralized and in the hands of a handful of corporations that are gradually but significantly censoring the information that we can have access to. For a lot of people these days, Facebook or Instagram or TikTok is the internet. They never leave those pages. And if Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok don't want you to see something or learn something, then for all intents and purposes, as far as you're concerned, those things don't exist. So the information is being throttled down. So it's important to be aware of that taking place, and you might have to work a little extra harder to find out everything that you want to find out. Don't let them corral you into a predetermined outcome. Don't just go along. Because so as this World Wide Web uplifts humanity by connecting us all together in a way that's never been possible before. That makes the ordinary person much stronger. And so that's one factor. But then a counter factor is the powers that be that want to maintain the status quo realized the threat that poses. And they are trying to eliminate that threat by throttling down on the information, getting all of these internet services to be concentrated in the hands of fewer and fewer corporations, so they have a monopoly, and eventually they can control the information flow. They can control the narrative. They can control the story about what's going on that plays in your head. They can control your interpretation. And if they can control the narrative in your head, they can control you. So a part of this global reset undoubtedly is going to be about undoing all of that, undoing that control. That's why I think this outage, this internet outage, because of this cloud-based security company making a mistake with its software update, is a part of this global reset. It's showing us that we maybe don't need to be and should not be so dependent on an undependable internet. It may all reset back to the beginning when you could do a Google search and see everything related to that topic. Whereas now, I go on YouTube looking for stuff, and all I get is like total mainstream corporate, just one corporate website after another. It's obvious which way the algorithm slants. So as part of the reset, that could change. As part of the reset, we get examples of how much can go wrong if we become too dependent on just a handful of companies to run our internet for us, like happened this morning. How much is using those services? I mean, 911 call centers in Canada to airports in Miami and everything in between, places all over the world. One little mistake in a piece of software and everything goes down. But it's nothing to worry about or get stressed out over, because it's how the dream is playing out. And that too will be a part of the global reset, the realization that we're all in a dream, and this world is not real. You know, when I say that this world is not real, a lot of people, maybe most people, don't understand what I'm saying. A lot of people take it as they think I'm using a metaphor, that it's some kind of metaphorical thing. But it's not. I mean it literally. A lot of people, they hear me say the world isn't real, and they think I'm referring to how different people will perceive things according to their conditioning. So they interpret things differently. So two different people seeing the exact same thing, but each of them sees it differently, depending on, you know, the filter that they of interpretation based on the conditioning that they grew up with, or they learned in school, or they learned from their parents, or what have you. Everybody has different conditioning, so everyone has a different interpretation. So even though people see the same thing, they see it differently. So they live in different realities. So the world is not real because everybody's got their own reality. So a lot of people think that's what I mean when I say the world is not real. And that's closer to the truth, but that's still not it. When I say the world isn't real, I mean literally the world is not real. It is a mental projection of consciousness. It is a hallucination or a dream. As an aspect of Christ's consciousness, you are projecting the world. The world is inside your mind, not the mind of your human body that, you know, Joe, Mary, Cindy, not the mind inside that body. That brain inside that body are inside the mind of the Christ consciousness, a projection. And they're not real either. They're a projection. I mean, they're as real as this computer that I'm talking into, but it's not real either. But it seems real. All of these things seem very real. So that's, you know, something that people wonder is like, if nothing is real, then how do we do anything? What should we do? And so you have to think of it as like a lucid dream. And a lucid dream is where you you come to you're in a dream and you realize you're dreaming, but you keep dreaming. The dream does not stop. You're still dreaming, but now you inside the dream, you know it's a dream. And so, you know, I've had a few of these, and you think about things like, well, you know, there's other people in the dream, but obviously they're not real. They're a part of my dream. I'm in this dream, but I'm not real. I'm a part of my dream. So what would happen if I just told everybody, hey, it's a dream, this isn't really happening? What would happen if I refused to play along with the dream script? And in the dream, I'm supposed to go over here, and I just say, no, this is a dream. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stand here. I'm not going to do anything. Well, what would probably happen is you would wake up and the dream would be over and you would learn nothing from it. And so that is why when a couple of times that I had a lucid dream and considered, interfering with it, basically, I decided, I'm having this dream for some reason. I'm supposed to be learning something from all this. So let's just go along with it and see what we see what I learn. Don't waste the opportunity. Here I am, I'm dreaming, and I know I'm dreaming. I'm awake inside the dream, and that is a rare occurrence. So do I want to mess up this rare occurrence by fighting the dream, or do I want to take advantage of this rare occurrence by going through this dream consciously, kind of like learning from everything, participating in everything consciously, rather than, having some dream that I stayed asleep the whole time, had no idea I was dreaming, and then I wake up finally at, wake up in the morning with a vague memory that I had some kind of dream last night, and not even remembering most of it, and having no clue what it was trying to teach me or what it might have meant. What if you could have a dream where you are completely conscious of the fact that you're dreaming and participating in the dream and looking for, what can I learn from this? What is this opportunity about? And so that's how it is in this dream, this world that seems so real. If you can shift your consciousness to the place where you turn this seemingly real world into a lucid dream, so to speak, where you wake up inside the dream, you're going to keep dreaming. Dream's going to keep going. Forms are going to keep playing out. But now you're conscious about it. Now you know it's a dream. Now you know it's not real. And you're choosing to consciously participate in it so that you can learn. Really, what you're trying to do is learn whatever it is you need to learn so that you actually wake up from the dream. So right now you're asleep in the dream. Your goal now, if you are interested in it, if you care about truth, your goal is to wake up in the dream, and then using that learning opportunity, eventually wake up from the dream. One of the good things about waking up, even just waking up in the dream, continuing to dream, but now it's a dream, and you're awake. And I learned this from a lucid dream, where like a regular lucid dream, where I was dreaming, and then I realized I was dreaming. In the dream, my contracted dream character, because you see, it's just like in the real world. People get so caught up in their identity that they can't tell the difference between who they are really at their core essence and who they think they are. The narrative in the head that tells them the conditioning and the role they're supposed to play, right? So they get all caught up in that. And it's a very contracted way of perceiving things and kind of myopic in its focus. And so this lucid dream that I had was like an extreme example of that. And that was one of the things that I learned by allowing the lucid dream to continue and participating consciously in it so that I could learn from it. In this dream, before I woke up in the dream, I was obsessed and narrowly focused on getting this piece of paper from one part of the country to another part of the country. After I woke up in the dream, after the dream became a lucid dream, I saw that this thing that I was obsessively focused on, and it was all I cared about, and I don't know how to put it. It was like it was like an emergency situation. I had to do this. I had to accomplish this task. I couldn't get help from anyone. I couldn't understand why nobody else realized how important this was. After I woke up, I realized that, wow, this is not important at all. There's absolutely nothing important about this. This can wait. Even within the context of the dream. I mean, I knew I was dreaming, and I wasn't saying this is not important because it's a dream and it's not really happening. I knew that was true, so that was one level. But even on the level of the dream, which I had decided to go along with the dream script and see where it went to see what I could learn, I realized even within the context of the dream script, it was not true that this was an incredibly important thing that needed to be done. It was incredibly trivial. Even in the story of the dream, it was incredibly trivial. But I wasn't able to see that when I was in the contracted, obsessed personality of the dream character. It wasn't until I woke up within the dream and had access to my fuller consciousness that I was able to see that. And so that's what that showed me, that in this reality, there are so many things that we think are so important, and we obsess on them, and we get all bent out of shape if we don't get them. Everyone that seems to be not helping becomes our enemy. And all of this stuff, when you wake up within this dream, when you turn this unreal world, this projection of consciousness, into a lucid dream, and you have access to your higher Christ consciousness, then you see it for what it is. You see that it's not really that important, that it's kind of trivial, that you're obsessing on it because you feel threatened because you don't know who you are. When you know who you are, you can't possibly feel afraid or threatened. So it's not like because you know the world isn't real, that means you shouldn't do anything. You should take no part in anything. You should have no preferences. That's kind of a nihilistic abstention for life, which isn't really workable. I mean, you can say, well, I know this isn't real, so I'm not going to do anything. You know, I'm just going to sit here and take no part in anything. Well, you can try that, and see how long it lasts. Sooner or later, you're going to do something. Sooner or later, you're going to have to do something. So why not do something that is transforming adversity into opportunity, taking advantage of everything as something that you can learn from? It's like the contracted, fearful you is as unreal as the rest of the dream. It's a projection of consciousness. So your higher consciousness projects this unreal you. And that unreal you, that contracted consciousness, going through life fearfully, in a state of lack, in a state of defensiveness, in a state of constantly being triggered by just about everything. Is a dream character, so it's going to follow the script of the dream. You have no control over that. You can, let's say you're leaving work today, and as you're going out the door, your boss gives you a funny look. And so you spend all weekend stewing over what did it mean that what did that funny look my boss gave me as I was leaving work on Friday? What did that mean? And you're like, you're getting full of stress and anxiety and fear. He's going to fire me. I'm going to go in Monday morning and he's going to fire me. That's why he gave me that funny look. Or you say to yourself, that man, she's gonna fire me Monday morning. She gave me this weird look as I'm leaving, like I'm doing something wrong, leaving from work on time. I'm not gonna let her fire me. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna quit first thing Monday morning. So you are trying to choose whether to go in Monday and hope you don't get fired, go in Monday and quit before you get fired. Maybe you have a nice relaxing weekend and calm down and realize you probably just imagined the whole thing and it meant nothing. She wasn't giving you a funny look. He's not going to fire you on Monday, and you just go into work on Monday morning like as normal, and everything's fine. Nothing happens. So you think you're deciding whether to quit Monday morning or not, and whatever you do Monday morning is a part of the dream script that was written on the level of form as consciousness projects reality. That script was written billions of years ago. So you're going to do on Monday whatever the script says. in actuality, all of this is taking place. There is no time. So all of this is taking place in the same single instant. But it seems like there's time. So it seems like the script was written before the Big Bang, because the Big Bang is a part of the script. And when we find out there actually wasn't a Big Bang, that'll be a part of the script as well. And when the Great Reset happens, that'll be a part of the script as well. And how that plays out will be a part of the script. And how it plays out for you as opposed to your neighbor will be a part of the script that we all agreed to and perform for each other, helping one another to grow. So if you're going to do on Monday morning, if you are going to choose to decide to do something on Monday morning that actually your dream character is not choosing, because your dream character, you contracted and fearful in the dream, following along with the script you're supposed to follow along with, that was written seemingly billions of years ago. What do you do with that? What do you do with that information? You want to look at the energies that you're feeling, not just with the example I gave of spending your weekend trying to decide whether to quit before you get fired, or go in and pretend like everything's fine and keep your fingers crossed, or whatever you might, quote, air quotes, decide to do. Because when you that's not the way to take advantage of the opportunities presented to you for growth by this dream. And even if you don't know, even if you haven't had that shift in consciousness and you're not awake inside the dream yet, you could still, even the contracted, fearful dream character can begin to wake up by practicing some techniques, which basically amount to working with the energetics of the situation instead of getting on the hamster wheel in your mind of thought, where you're just thinking, constantly running over in your head over and over and over again. Why did he look at me like that? What does it mean? Replaying every conversation you've had with your, you've had with your boss over the last 10 years, looking for an explanation, the mind loves that. The mind loves to get you stuck in story circles that never end and never get you anywhere, and just keep spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning over and over and over and over, and you can just stay stuck there forever. It's more effective, it's more efficient, it's more helpful to feel the energy instead of thinking about the situation. Feel the energy in your body that arose because your boss, you think, gave you a funny look. Ignore the story. Don't even if you're a dream character completely asleep, you can do this. You can understand that you have a strong tendency, right, to make up a story about everything. So you feel something, you feel energy in your body, right away you want to name it. Fear, stress, anxiety. And as soon as you've named it, you want to come up with a story that explains it. Why am I feeling fear, stress, anxiety? Because my boss is going to fire me. How do you know? Because she gave me a funny look. You haven't even probably named the energy correctly. I mean, we have so many emotions with different qualities to them, but we have a very limited emotional vocabulary. If like if you feel sadness because your mother died, your mother passed away, that has a particular feel to it, and it's in a particular place in your body. If you feel sadness because your favorite pet died, that has a different feel to it, a different energetic quality to it, and it's in a different place in your body. If you feel sadness because you lost your grandmother's ring that she left you as a family heirloom and you can't find it, that's a different quality of energy and a different location in your body. So they're all different. The sadness you feel when a parent passes versus when a pet passes versus when you lose something of sentimental value, the sadness you feel is different, but we only have one word, sadness. So we call it sadness, even though it's three different things. And it's exactly like that with all of these emotional, energetic movements that arise and take place in our bodies. So when you get one of these movements, one of these energetic arisings, and the first thing you do is name it, you're already going down the wrong road. Because you're giving it the wrong name because you don't really have enough. We don't have enough of an emotional vocabulary to be accurate when we name these energies. And then as soon as you've named it, now you're making a story up about it. And now you're back in your head on the hamster wheel of the narrative in your head, running your mind over and over and over again, the same old ground, not getting anywhere. So you want to avoid that. And you want to just feel the energy. You want to just feel the feeling. Feelings communicate through energy and feeling. They don't use words. The mind uses words, concepts and metaphors, and that's not what emotions and energy are about. It's a different kind of communication. They will communicate to you very clearly if you will listen to them in the language that they are using, rather than trying to superimpose your language, the language of words and stories and concepts and intellectual abstractions. You don't take your language and force it down the throat of your feelings and make your feelings come back to you in the same language. because they don't speak that language. So you want to just be present in your body with the feeling and just allow yourself to feel it without naming it, without making up a story. Just keep the words out, keep the head out, feel it in your heart. Like, what is this feeling? Go deep into it. How does it feel in my body? Where is it in my body? What is it doing? Is it staying still? Is it moving? If it's moving, where is it moving from? Where is it moving to? Get granular with it. Stay in the present reality instead of building a fairy castle in the sky in an abstract way. Stay focused on what's happening now. I think it was Flip Wilson had a comedy skit where he was a preacher for the church of what's happening now. So you want to be a member of the church of what's happening now. What's happening now? Focus on that. Stay in that. Allow yourself to feel that. And so you're in the example we're talking about, you think your boss gave you a funny look Friday when you were leaving from work, so now you're spending your weekend, wasting your weekend trying to decide if you should quit before you get fired, because you've got this whole thing in your head now. By the time Monday morning rolls around, you're probably thinking firing squads or something. So, but you stay away from the story and you feel the feeling. What's going on with you? What kind of feeling is arising within you from this? And you focus on that feeling. You stay present with that feeling, the energetics of it. And always, if you look underneath it, and you can only look underneath it, you got to like really get granular with it. Like I said, you got to stay with it. You got to stay focused on it and stay with it. And eventually you will find some underlying fear-based conditioning that has happened to you earlier in your life. And this whole thing with the funny look from your boss is just another example of the same thing. That you are constantly creating in your life through projection from your own consciousness similar events and incidents that generate fear within you and are all of a similar kind of thing. The energy that arises is a similar kind of energy that kind of like resonate together. It's all kind of connected. It's just you doing the same thing again and again and again until you heal or release or integrate back into your energy body the original incident where you decided to be less than who you are, where you decided to believe a lie about who you are that told you that you were less than, not good enough, didn't deserve good things, whatever it might be. Some really actually everyone shares a basic belief that we did something wrong and God's got it in for us now. Somehow we failed God. or we failed the absolute, or we failed reality. There's a innate, deep sense of shortcoming, of not being good enough. And it plays out because there's no time. All of this is playing out instantaneously at the same time. It's sort of like this dream reality is a computer simulation where we are playing out every possible contingency to see where it goes. And eventually we realize that none of the contingencies go to a place that we want. So if you just sort of go through all this stuff randomly by happenstance without consciousness, so that you have to sort of like randomly play out all the contingencies, it can take a really long time. But if you become conscious about it and look at the contingencies as they arise, you can start to get more organized, more effective, and it doesn't take so long. Let's pop over to Facebook. See what's going on over there. See if there's any questions. There may not be. I forgot to tell you, you can ask me a question on Facebook. Type it in the chat there. So even if you're completely asleep in the dream, not lucid dreaming, not aware that it's a dream yet, even if that's the case, if you just being aware of the possibility that maybe you're just projecting all of this and being open to using the technique of feeling the energy, being present with the energy, and right now in the church of what's happening now, and see what being willing to listen to the energy as it speaks in its language. When you see that this this arising scenario in your head of your boss gave you a funny look, and so now you are thinking about quitting before you get fired, and you see that none of that is real. Your boss didn't give you a funny look. It doesn't mean anything. If you have a relaxing weekend, you're going to go in Monday just fine. And if it does, and if your boss did give you a funny look and it does mean something and you do get fired, then that's perfect too. It just means you're going to be finding a better job that you're happier with. But that's not even the opportunity. The opportunity is seeing the original fear-based conditioning underneath all of these similar incidents that you've been projecting throughout your life, maybe even all your lives. And undoing that at the root. No longer believing your mind when it lies to you about how you deserve to be punished because you aren't good enough, or whatever the lie is. Undoing the fear-based lie at the root, which is what the energy is trying to bring to your attention so that you can heal it, release it, integrate it. And once you've got the information, once you've heard the energy's message to you, it is going to salute and carry on, and you're done with that. And that will bring about like a quantum leap in the evolution of your soul. And you'll never have to deal with that again. And after you've done this a few times, you begin to see the bigger picture. You begin to see how everything is related to this. I mean, at first, when you're doing it, you got to work on each thing. Each separate thing is something you got to work on. You got to be in the present moment around this particular energy. But eventually, you see the grand pattern. And you don't have to do things one at a time anymore. You don't have to unravel things one at a time. You don't have to peel the onion one layer at a time. You start to see I guess it's like if someone were to prove to you that the world is a dream by constantly showing you things. You know, when something when you change your reality enough times, eventually it hits you, hey, reality is not what everybody says it is. It's not etched in granite. It's pretty flowable, flexible. And that makes you question whether your model of reality that says it's all fixed is accurate. And that's the beginning of the process of waking up, liberation, freedom. And it's weird because, nothing actually really changes in the form life. The dream is going to go on according to the script. Things are going to play out however they're going to play out. So, like right now here on St. Croix, we got, people are struggling. We're losing, we have rotating power outages, prices are high. A lot of businesses are struggling to make ends meet. A lot of people are struggling to make ends meet. Basic services going down frequently. People working multiple jobs trying to pay the rent. And so it feels overwhelming. like the energy of it, the energetics of it is overwhelm, tension, stress, anxiety, fear. I got to go here and do this and finish this in time to get to my job over there. Hopefully I can get off work from job 1 in time to be able to drive to job 2 and get there on time without having to drive. I got to drive slow because the road's full of potholes, and breaking my axle is going to just put me out of work because I won't be able to get to my job. So it's stress, it's overwhelm, I got too many places to go, too much to do, too many lines to stand in, not enough money to spend to take care of everything that I have to take care of in a limited amount of time. And so it's weird because that feeling, I found out, that feeling of overwhelm, of not enough time, is completely subjective. It may seem justified, but you can have the exact same life and be totally at peace and not experiencing overwhelm. And it suddenly, it's like the universe is making extra time for you. Like there's plenty of time. And you find that actually plays out in reality. Prior to breathing in the integration of this energy, you would run out of time. You wouldn't be able to get the things done that you needed to get done in the time allotted. After breathing in the integration of the energy, suddenly you're able to do it with time left over, time to spare. It's like this contracted feeling of not enough time is something that we project from our consciousness of lack and make real for ourselves. Maybe lack consciousness would be a better way to say it. The bad news is you're a prisoner of your mind. The good news is you are the jailer. So every energetics arising of stress and overwhelm and not enough time is an opportunity to free yourself of all of that. But not by taking the usual route of, thinking, how can I organize my day better? Maybe it's a logistics problem and I just need to get less random about my schedule. Instead, you use the energetics of stress, anxiety, overwhelm, and not enough time in the church of what's happening now. You take it to the church of what's happening now, and you get granular with it, and you get down into the energy. And you don't name it. Don't call it stress. I'm doing a radio show, so I have to use words, but you don't call it stress, anxiety, overwhelm. You just feel the energy. And you go into it and you feel what it's communicating to you energetically. And you'll see a pattern. Wow, this feels the same way as this other thing that I'm dealing with. And that feels the same way as this other thing that I was dealing with when I was 8 years old, and so on and so forth. And the patterns begin to emerge, and you see them. And then as soon as you see them, you see through them. You see that they are not true. And you become free of them. And since you're not projecting that consciousness into your perceptions anymore, you no longer perceive them. Other people might perceive them. Other people might have no idea what you're talking about when you say that doesn't exist for me any longer. We have a shared reality, but we do not share identical realities. And that's why I said at the top of the show, the people that, when I say this world isn't real, the people that take that to mean that we all interpret things through our own conditioning so that we are all experiencing a different world. So the world isn't real. That's why I said that was closer to the truth, but not the truth. That's not quite it. It's more like the world is not real. The world is a dream. And for most people, that dream is a nightmare. And you can learn to work with these energies and the understandings and develop the skill to turn that nightmare into a happy dream. And if you're going to be dreaming, probably better to be dreaming a happy dream rather than a nightmare. But nightmare or happy dream, they're still not real. But that doesn't mean you diss reality and just, say nothing matters like some kind of radical nihilist, because it does still matter, because it's a learning opportunity. If you take advantage of the learning opportunity, you're going to wake up sooner, and you're going to help others to wake up sooner. And one of the things that you begin to realize as you begin to wake up and as you take advantage of these learning opportunities, there is no separation. So when you are helping others to wake up, that's, you're helping yourself. That sounds selfish, but it's not even really that. It's more like you can't do anything else. You can't choose to do anything else. When you begin to wake up, you cannot be selfish. It's not in the universe of the possible for you. So, I guess the thing to realize is that this great reset that's supposed to be taking place, it's about freedom from the current systems, which you have to remember we all played a part in creating, but we did this before we began waking up. These current systems come from a consciousness of lack and fear and separation and competition, and everybody's my enemy or a potential enemy, or at best a potential temporary ally to help me prevail over the other enemy. All this crazy, insane stuff. That is what the current system came from. The world system, everything. That is its genesis. At its root, it is based on that. It is based on this is hell. There's no death in heaven. Here, everything dies. Even Mount Everest is going to be gone one day. In heaven, there's eternity. Here, there is time. In heaven, there's never-ending life. Here, there is death. In heaven, there's peace, joy, and happiness. Here, there's war, sadness, and fear. In heaven, there's love. Here, there is fear. So this is the exact opposite of heaven. And the opposite of heaven is hell. And we created this hell. This system came out of that consciousness. But as we grow to a new and higher and more loving consciousness, we create a new, higher, more loving system. And that's what the Great Reset is all about. It's about seeing what in our current reality, what no longer serves us, what is not reliable, what is not trustworthy, what does not empower us, what keeps us down instead of elevating us, what drives us to fight one another instead of uniting with one another. It's about, as the new consciousness arises and comes forth, the systems are going to rise up to match the new consciousness. It can't be too much of a mismatch for too long. be too painful, and it doesn't work that way. First, you decide inside of your mind what kind, your Christ mind, not your dream character mind. You decide inside of your mind what kind of a world you live in, and then you project that out, and then the dream character perceives that. Projection makes perception. Projection makes perception. But there are people who are highly invested in the status quo, who are highly invested in the old system because it benefits them, because they've learned to play that game and they've gotten good at it. So they don't want to start a new game. They don't want the old system to go away. Even though it makes them as miserable as it makes the rest of us, because it is based in fear, and no one ultimately is going to be happy in it. But they've gotten used to that particular brand of unhappiness, and they're afraid of change. They're afraid of where they would be if we did the reset. So the more conscious among them are trying to keep the system unchanged. They're trying to keep the Great Reset from happening. They're trying to corral you into a predetermined outcome to keep everything the same. And they are really good at it. They are really good at playing this game. And you will probably never figure out all the little tricks they pull, but you don't have to. You just have to be conscious of the fact that you are in a dream that you helped to create, that causes to arise within you on a regular basis a variety of emotional energies, all of which are really some form of fear because you believed the lie that you are not enough in some form, and know that that is not true, and that the arising of these energies is an opportunity to undo them. And that's like the master key. Even if you aren't able to figure out all the ins and outs and the tricks that they're pulling, you use that one master key and it unlocks all your chains. It unlocks every lock. It unlocks all the shackles. You don't even have to know where the shackle is. You don't have to know how it works. You know, is it an electronic lock or a master lock or a Yale lock? None of that. You don't have to, because that's what the mind wants. The mind wants to pull you into this never-ending conflict where you win one battle and you got 20 more behind it. If you're looking for a way to kill some time, kill some eternity, go that way. But if you want to take advantage of a shorter way, if you want to make it, there's a direct route. Oh. It's easy to be corralled and stampeded by the purveyors of the status quo. You want to go that way, you're afraid of change too. And a lot of times, like I say, you can't even see the tricks they're pulling. But if you're just aware of the fact that it could be happening, just conscious of the fact that maybe what I'm hearing now is not in my highest interest. Maybe I am being corralled right now. Just being aware of the fact that it could be happening is an enormous leg up, because for most of your life, it never even crossed your mind. For most of everybody's life, it never even crossed their mind. For most of the human race's lifetime over tens of thousands of years, it's never even crossed our mind. Now, you see people talking this way more and more everywhere. More and more people are becoming aware. We're getting ready to uplift into a higher frequency, a higher consciousness. And just knowing that that is possible, just seeing that possibility, just seeing that possibility is incredibly liberating, because it makes you available to it. It makes it available to you. If you completely have no clue about it and completely disregard it, you're not there for it, and it is not there for you. But more and more people are there. I think that's it for the show for today. You've been listening to Children of the Sun on WSTX